What is a deferred compensation plan? Well, it's just like it sounds. It's usually done for executives or just valued employees that a company wants to keep as a part of their team long term. So what happens is many times it's done with, it can be done with or without, but if it's really a high value employee, most of the time they will use what's called premium financing. So they'll go and get a loan that's amortized over 15 years, and they'll make payments, in some structure. It just depends on the lender, whether it's interest only or interest and part of the premium. They want you to have some sort of skin in the game whenever they're the lender. But the way it works is they usually do a 10-pay policy, and it'll be usually some large sum every year for 10 years. And then there'll be an arrangement behind that. The arrangement will be, there's a split in the death benefits. So a certain percentage goes to the business, so they get their money back tax-free and ideally get some sort of profit on their money. And then also the death benefit with the remainder of that, which, it might be 50-50, it depends on the arrangement. It depends on how they set it up. But the rest of it will go to the beneficiaries or the loved ones of the employee or the executive. So in the arrangement, there's a certain year they will give control of the policy to the individual that is actually insured. But until then, the business is the owner and payer of the policy. So they're paying the premiums. And this helps in many cases. It locks in the employee, because essentially what it is it's a retirement plan that's fully funded. And whenever they get to a certain age, they start taking distributions, or they take control of the money. They're able to access the money in some way, shape, or form. And it's just an added bonus. It's a benefit. It's a, I guess that's the long and short of it. But these are used on a higher level, and because they're funded with so much larger policies. There was, what was his name? Jim Harbaugh out of Michigan. They had a big public thing about it. Normally these things aren't very public, but I believe and it's been a while since I read the dynamics of what the deal was, but it was like $1 million a year for like 10 years. And he was going to end up getting like 1.4 or 1.7 in retirement for, say, 15 or 20 years. It worked out that way, the way the growth of the policy was going to look. So it's on a much higher level. This is, if it's not done that way, for whenever it's done by individuals, it's usually higher earners, people who make at least, there's financing out there for household incomes of, just as long as it's six figures and above, 100,000 plus, there is that. And then there's different scales of it. There's other finance companies who only work with somebody worth at least 2.5 million, and usually it's a $5 million net worth is usually where they look to do this. And there's several different arrangements, there's several different reasons, why you would do this, but it accelerates the growth because they're able to fund it so highly. And then the payments are cut off, and it's the death benefit is permanent. The growth keeps growing, and it reduces the cost of the insurance. So the growth takes off after those 10 years. So it grows faster than if you were still paying in, because you're still adding more and more and more insurance and more death benefit. And there is some drag with that. I mean, it's not a bad drag because it's an added bonus and you're still getting good growth, but your growth gets accelerated whenever you're able to do what's called a reduced paid up. And that takes away those extra expenses. So you do away with the expenses, it's mostly income. So It changes the dynamic of the policy. It does if you do it comparatively on illustration, on a couple of different illustrations, you can see where there's more cash value if you go reduce paid up. You can do what's called a premium offset, which means the dividends that you're being paid are now being pushed over to pay the premium. And depending on the company and the setup is whether or not it just pays the base premium or also paid up additions, if there's still a paid up additions rider on that policy. It will have a little less cash value because you're still paying into the insurance. Now, in the long run, it's going to be more, of course, because you're still funding it in a way. But for the most part, reduced paid up is you spend less money and you end up with about the same money, if not more in some cases. Depends on the insurance company, depends on the policy, depends on what they call an expense load, or maybe that's just my terminology. But these deferred compensation plans lock in the employee, and for somebody who it's a valuable employee, helps them produce, helps them operate at a higher level, they pay them at a high level. And like I said, this is available also to your average Joe, especially a married couple has two incomes, for them to hit six figures isn't unusual if they're both making $50,000 or $60,000 a year. It's also available at that price point, and it can be used in ways to, especially being able to fund at a high level like that. You can actually pay off debt, mortgages, stuff like that in a very short period of time in comparison to 30 years. It might be 10 or less. It might even be 4 or 5. It just depends on how you maximize each dollar that you're making. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions or you're interested in looking into, if you're a business and you're looking at doing a deferred compensation plan or something, or looking for a benefit to add to help lock in an employee or show them, that you value them highly, I'm glad to work with you. We do these types of things here. And if you're an individual and like I said, your household income is six figures or better, I'm more than glad to work with you as well. I can help design something that will work with your budget and what you have to go through. And we help model a pay down. Not everybody's going to do debt reduction. Some people are going to take that and they're going to want to leverage that money into, investments or something to cash flow to bring in an additional income into their household, which there's nothing wrong with that either. But we can help model most of those things. We have different spreadsheet software, stuff like that we can use. That'll help along the way. Some people don't want help. Some people are good with numbers and they're self-starters. There's a group I'm a part of, and there's a lot of people in there that they practice the infinite banking concept. And I talk about, man, these guys, they talk the way they talk, and they've watched a million videos and whatever. I'm like, you guys are overachievers, and they laugh, but they don't understand that not everybody is grasps the concept right away. Not everybody understands the dynamics of a life insurance policy, but that's what I'm here for. That's what I do. I in particular help service the policy. I help you with utilizing it, because if not, I'm not helping you to the maximum benefit. I'm not helping you achieve your goals. And that's kind of the idea, is I give you direction. And if you have questions, I help answer those questions. I've done this myself. I've been doing it for 13 years, and it's been great to me. And I like helping people. It's just what I do. But this has to be tailored to your needs. And like I said, for those of you who can qualify for this type of thing. And you don't have to get started doing this whole concept in general. You don't have to qualify for any type of financing. You just, if you're putting away savings, instead of putting it over here in savings, you put it into a policy, or there's ways you can rearrange things and eliminate other things. And with the debt pay down, it helps funnel more money into the asset. So why not have a growing asset instead of a bunch of bills that you just pay every month? And there's better ways of doing things, and this is a lot better way, in my opinion, and can help people. And I would say it's not a get rich quick scheme, but at the end of the day, you end up with a substantial amount of money. So, for somebody who's going to just continue to pay bills, most people just pay bills and they pay them every month, and they really don't have a lot to show for it at the end of the day. This is a way to pay all of that and not necessarily have to make any more money, and set these things up and over a shorter period of time end up debt free or with more assets by utilizing this and maximizing your dollars by it growing in the policy, and then you borrow against that, and then you put it to work, and you're just funneling money back in. So say, for example, you paid a small credit card, it was $1,000. You took the $1,000 from here, you paid it off, high interest over here in the credit card. Now the payment, you might have been paying $100 a month over there. Now it comes back over here. So, and it gets a little more in depth than that. But my point is that you do those small wins, and now those bills that you were funneling into the credit card or into that one credit card, for example, starts coming back to you. It only makes sense. This can be modeled and show you how it'll still benefit you, even if you paid off a low interest mortgage. In a lot of cases, this benefits you way more. But there's always looking at it objectively, and if it is low enough interest, well, maybe that's considered free money. Maybe you don't want to concentrate on paying that off. You can concentrate on moving that into cash flowing assets, whether it be in the market, whether it be in real estate. A lot of people who do real estate, they do this because it just amplifies what they're doing by it growing here, and then it's growing over here, and it grows in two places at the same time. All you're doing is maximizing every dollar. Please put some questions down there if you have them. Like I said, if you want to get on my calendar link, schedule a call. If premium financing sounds like something you want to do, or something that interests you, or a deferred compensation plan for an employee, or something of the sort, please get on my calendar and leave me questions down below. It helps me answer your questions through the videos. And then please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We'll catch you on the next one.